What's up, true believers? Okay, right, we gotta get through this so that we can actually move on to other stuff, right? Because we are actually in a part 3, I'm sorry, hopefully this will never happen again, of my little analysis here, of Marvel's 70th Anniversary Collection. So you watch the first 2 parts and you know we are now up to the 90s. And sort of the trend continues where I'm not too pleased with a lot of the choices. And the first one we get is the origin of the Human Torch from Marvel's number 0. Which of course is, you know, a retelling of something from the Golden Age, which I think just makes it not fit in here. I mean, I get it. Marvel's was a very big thing that had happened with the art by Alex Ross and sort of the photorealistic painting, and just sort of a new spin on some of these characters. And Marvel's number 0 is the idea of taking it back to the beginning with the very first ever. And so anyway, see, here's what Marvel's looked like, the art. See there? Yeah. I have a habit of, I notice when I watch the videos again, that when I'm showing you pages, I don't leave them there for very long. So what we get is mostly, it's just more of a narration going on of Phineas Thomas Horton, the inventor of the Human Torch, who sort of invented him by accident, as we go on here, and it's fairly short. And it just talks about, you know, the creation and how when he came to life and caught fire, which was not intended, and he took off and had to make a life for himself. And anyway, it's quite short. And then we get into a story from, I think it's 1998. Let's just go back and make sure. Yeah, May 98, Avengers number 4. Story called Too Many Avengers. Who will be the Avengers? The idea being the team had gotten huge and you know, a revolving door cast and no consistency, so the idea was, of course, we need to actually make a real team here. I find it to be a really annoying issue. It pretty much encapsulates exactly why I was never interested in the Avengers before New Avengers. It was a big deal that George Perez was coming back to do the art. Kurt Busiek wrote the story. I don't think there's anything good about it. It's mostly just them sitting around and some of the original or founding Avengers. I explained earlier how that terminology works. Just sort of having discussion of the many, many heroes that have at least been part-time Avengers, who should be part of the new official team. It starts with sort of an amusing bit where here we go here, Whirlwind, 2-bit supervillain or whatever, is trying to rob a bank or something like that, when all of a sudden he's thwarted by this. Or not thwarted, attempted to be thwarted. Well, all these guys, and the whole idea was there's so many of them, they're tripping over each other and getting in each other's way, and Whirlwind actually laughs at them and manages to get away. So yeah, and it goes on, they have the little discussion, and ends with, of course, Cap yelling his big, "Oh, Avengers Assemble," there it is, and you see Firestar's in there, Scarlet Witch, Ms. Marvel, others, Thor, and the Vision, Iron Man, Hawkeye. Who's that in the background? And the crowd goes wild with Hawkeye. But, again, I don't know, like, this didn't last particularly long. You know, the Avengers had the problem, no consistency. And this issue maybe was meant to finally pull it all together, and it didn't really go. So, yeah, those are the only two stories they used from the 90s. And, again, they mention ones that I really think they could have had, like X-Force number 1. I mean, that was sort of a big deal. Why not have that? X-Men number 1, the new series that Jim Lee drew, and really that was really how he broke out, and it sold all those copies, broke all those records. What else we got here? Spider-Man number 53, the Clone Saga reaches the zenith. Someday I will talk about the Clone Saga. That's a whole other thing. Daredevil number 1. That would be when Kevin Smith and Joe Quesada do the sort of revival of the character. Yeah, so again, I think some of those ones I named would have made for better choices. I get that it's cool to have some Alex Ross stuff in here, and I get that. So into the 21st century, and we come out with Confessions from Ultimate Spider-Man number 13. And I thought long and hard about whether or not I liked the idea of having something from the Ultimate Universe here. And I suppose they're right, even though, because it is Marvel, it's a separate universe, but it's still Marvel, and one of the big things that happened in the 21st century was the Ultimate Universe. So they picked Confessions, which is the issue, which seems very early on. It's only issue number 13, where he reveals his secret identity to Mary Jane. Again, someday I'd like to talk about just the Ultimate Universe in general. If If you don't know, I don't have time to go into here, but in this, it sort of takes everything back to the beginning and makes things, and with different changes, the idea being to let go of all that continuity, 40, 50 years of backstory, and just sort of start fresh again, and with new, young takes on the characters. So, as before, like in like the 60s and stuff, Spider-Man's a teenager, and for a while they're going to leave him here. So next is The War with the Kree is Over from Avengers Illuminati #1. This is a really important thing, and it's an issue that's in here, and you can get the new Avengers Illuminati, sorry, I'm just trying to keep my page with the other hand, trade paperback, which is a really good thing to pick up if you really want to understand the Secret Invasion, because although there's at least 1 or 2 issues in here that have nothing to do with it, and just talk about stuff like the Infinity Gauntlet and stuff like that, it actually really helps you understand what led into this the Secret Invasion by the Skrulls, and it's a really good thing to have. So I already owned it in that particular issue. It's the issue, of course, where after in the pages of New Avengers, where the first Skrull imposter is detected, that is posing as Elektra. They kill it, find out it's a Skrull, and they take it to Iron Man, and Iron Man takes it to the Illuminati, who of course are Black Bolt, Doctor Strange, Professor X, Namor the Submariner, and Reed Richards. The idea being that these guys are a secret group that they tell no one else in the Marvel Universe knows about, not even like their significant others or whatever, and they meet and talk about things of great importance or their world, blah blah blah. Anyway, something that they do here is one of the main triggers for what goes into Secret Invasion. I think it's a satisfying thing, and a good thing to have. And then the very last comic included here is the epilogue of Civil War, Captain America number, 25? I'm just going to jump back and make sure I get the number right. Sorry. Captain America number 25, April 2007, which is the death of Captain America, which we're all still feeling the aftershocks of course, by now he's back, which I guess we knew all along, which is kind of annoying. It made for I do think it made for sort of a good epilogue for the Civil War. A lot of people were upset, of course, thought it was a bad way for Cap to go out, gunned down on the steps as a prisoner, instead of dying heroically. And then other people argued, well, that's more realistic in some ways. We can't all, all these heroes can't always go out in a blaze of glory. Sometimes they're sort of at a low moment, and, they're gunned down by some punk or whatever. And of course, we don't actually find out what's going on in this issue, but, it was shot by a sniper. It was Crossbones on the orders of Red Skull, but then you find out something even weirder at the end, that Sharon Carter, who was supposed to be guarding him, and of course, was one of his romantic interests, somehow she had taken some sort of weird mental cue. You can get a good shot of it here. Again, I have to light this a lot so this doesn't look bad, and then of course when I try to show you pages, the glares, crap. But there she is, shooting Cap, and she just sort of remembers that. And that's a whole thing about, and it just complicates things, because, okay, Cap's dead, he was shot, but then, no, he was shot with some weird gun by Sharon Carter, and it goes into all that stuff, Captain America Reborn, and now we're into who will wield the shield, and all this stuff, and thing about Cap being ripped back through time and forced to relive some of his moments of his past. I think it's really stupid. And that's how this ends, which just seems like a bad way to end it, so we're at the end here. I went through the whole collection as best as I could. Again, I'm sorry to give you such a mixed message. I think it's a good thing to own, but it could have been a lot better, especially when you read the honorable mentions of the things that they could have included. I mean, there are just so many classic comics that would have been great to have here in color, because, I mean, most of us, we're not going to have those, especially older ones, we're not going to have those comics, and the best we're going to do is maybe pick them up in one of the essential volumes, which, of course, is only in black and white. So it would have been nice, I would have loved to have, again, my favorite one I would have loved to have would have been The Death of Gwen Stacy, either 121 or Amazing Spider-Man 121 or 122. That would have been wonderful, and it's not in here, and that pisses me off. And there's a few other things like that. So okay, yeah, that's going to do it for now, and we'll be back soon. And we're going to get away from Marvel for a while, because God knows we've had enough Marvel for a while, right? So I'm not sure what I'll be doing next. We'll be coming out with something different. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what else is coming up yet, so I'll let you know. So that'll do for now. So if any of your friends are acting kind of strange, it's probably a Skrull. Could be a Doombot, but probably a Skrull. All right, until next time, take it easy.